All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Kenny's here. We can be in, if you want to be formal, you can call me Tony. But Kenny is my broadcast name, has been forever. So good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be. And wow, exciting developments. This morning here shortly, if I've got the time right, I believe Jörg Newman, the lead developer from Microsoft Asobo, going to be interviewing several of the existing partners for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. And those are Got Friends Hyper Performance Group and MilTech Simulations. So I was looking over their pages. I need to keep an eye on the Twitch stream. But so here is Got Friends website. That is supposed to be a monster. Everybody's been requesting that one. Well, not, you know what I mean. In Bush Circle groups, I hear that all the time. And one of these gliders, like that one right there, is supposed to be like the Lexus Cadillac of gliders. Pretty exciting. All right, hype performance. I should save the best for last. So I'm surprised it isn't this group here. Very. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So this group here, MilTech Simulations. So it looks like they do aircraft, carriers, scenery, bundles, discounts, and you can look at all of their products. So very exciting. And the third group, Hype Performance Group. This is going to blow your mind right there. Right there. That's, to me, that's the biggest news of the day. The biggest news of the day. The variant comes equipped with soldiers carrying assault rifles and rocket pods, including the very first implementation of working weapons inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, combat has been a huge area of contention in the Microsoft gaming community, with Jörg being very split over the whole thing. And I've never really understood that. I was a fan of the combat series of Microsoft Flight Simulator games in the past, but I was way too young to know anything about flying to really enjoy titles like that. So with Microsoft Flight Simulator coming back, I have been, and I was part of the alpha. Since the alpha, I've been asking, well, when is the combat series going to come back? And in the alpha, I had high hopes early on that they would immediately bring back the combat series. There was combat system controls in the settings. So from the very first moment that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 was around, combat systems were initially part of control options. So this is a big baby step in the right direction, in my opinion. Huge, big baby step in the right direction. Let's not crash, shall we? So, really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Did you ever play the combat series when you were growing up? Do you remember the Pacific Combat? That's the one I was really getting into. But I just, I just didn't have the chops. I knew nothing as I come crashing down. Been having a heck of a time with my helicopters lately, trying to get them set up. But as you can see there. All right. They should be kicking off anytime now. So yeah, the one of the developers has emergency medical or emergency response vehicles with working winches and working this and working that, and this is going to be interesting. There's a poll up in the top of the chat room, basically just asking Microsoft Flight Simulator combat training, yes or no? How do you feel about combat? If you need a subscriber, another person following you, please say hi in the chat room. It gives me the option to click the 3 buttons next to your name and go to channel. So I can immediately go to your channel, hit subscribe, and we're good. Other than that, if you subscribe to me, which would be greatly appreciated, use all the help I can get, it'll usually take a while for it to show up under my subscriber list and delay me subscribing back to you. So, more than happy to help. Unlike other people, I don't care if you advertise what you're doing in my chat room at the moment. Other people have sponsors and other things, and they're like, do not come into our chat room and advertise anything that you're doing. And wow, that's the spirit. I was just learning about raiding. I have a daughter. Raiding to me sounds like something horrible. She's like, do you raid people? Like, no. Like, you should. Like, but I like everybody. No. Raiding is when you, at the end of your live stream, you go over to somebody else's live stream and you know, ask all your viewers to go over there. Oh, why are you calling it raiding? We have sound. Dear Lord, please let this work. You people rock. Do. So they're there. But I don't have sound. Where the heck is the sound? No bueno, senor. Where is the desktop audio? Oh, come on. Can't start this way. Oh no, what is going on? They're at least getting audio over there. I see some echo in audio. Oh no. This is awful. The tragedy. I got nothing. This is lovely. Okay.
You guys,
There we go. Thank God.
This is the AeroElvira Optica.
Elvira.
The next generation of it. So this is something we've released in the past in 2020, and Microsoft was kind enough to ask us to do it for 2024. So we've completely reinvented the Optica. So I'm going to go ahead and start pre-flight and let Raymond talk a little bit about the details.
Yeah, so here we have our Optica. It is, of course, it's a great observation platform. You basically can see it's like a helicopter with wings, basically. It has enormous endurance. It's got about 8 hours on it. If you put it in loiter mode, that sort of thing, and we simulated all this. So if you put the flaps on flap 2, it is super efficient in a very slow cruise, so you can literally loiter over an area, just chill and relax, enjoy the scenery. For 8 long hours, you can do whatever you want. It's got a detailed simulation also of pretty much every single system. Brandon is showing a little bit there already. But one thing to note is the weights, the balance, because as you note, the people are sitting in front all the way. So it really matters. It impacts CG a lot if you put 1, 2, or 3 people in front. So if there's 1 person in front, you need to add weight ballast in front. 3 people in front, you need that weight ballast behind, and 2 people, nothing. For example, right? And Brandon is showing right now that he can move the control surface in the pre-flight checks when he's walking around, that sort of thing. Brandon?
Yep, and trying not to forget the chocks.
Yep, he's getting the whole aircraft ready. You can see it looks nice and shiny, and he's going in.
So this is the inside, and we're just going to go ahead and start her up. So something unique on the Optica, we have 2 variants coming. One of the variant is a Series 300, which you probably saw in the front has a camera. And this comes in EO wide, IRH, and IR cold that you can go ahead and use to kind of help you along your flight. Go ahead and open the fuel valve, both set. External power.
They're outputting at 1080p, so I can't do much about.
All right, and we got engine start. So we're going to go ahead and do a little quick flight for this one and move on to the next aircraft. I think a lot of you guys are probably really familiar with the Optica by now, so.
Sorry, folks.
Something really awesome about this aircraft is its turn radius. Very, very high turn radius. So you can really get out of some tight squeezes.
I'm not that familiar with Twitch, so trying to figure out the best way to put it in here.
And then we absolutely love the view on this thing. This is like one of the best views you can get for like VR type aircraft. So if you're really looking for an aircraft that kind of has those kind of views where you can really enjoy all the new scenery adding in 2024, this is the perfect aircraft for you. We got full glass all over the place.
Yeah, basically if you don't want to fly a helicopter, but you like the view, then you fly this one. Easy one. It's so great to enjoy that.
Slow, so we're going to go ahead and turn away from these mountains.
If you're a Windows expert out there, do you know any way to keep the window on top? So every time I click on the simulator,
what is the cruise
Jane
speed on this?
Liswoon. I love her microphone.
Between 45 and 110 knots. It has an enormous range. 110 knots is on the fast side, but if you come in so-called loiter mode, which is pretty unique to this one, you only cruise between 45 and 70.
Loiter mode?
The idea is really that
nice.
You can kind of replace the duties of a helicopter. That was his original vision and design as well. So that's why it was used by the police to patrol highways and slow or check out nature reserves. You just slowly and quietly hover over an area.
Hoover.
It's also using a ducted fan, so it reduces the noise level a lot. So it is a very
put up your ducts.
Can fly very, very slow.
I've been talking a lot about advanced avionics and systems that are coming our way. It's getting really good.
Hop in this aircraft, just cruise along.
Yeah.
Yep. And then as you can see here, we got the AS530, the Garmin 530. We got an autopilot suite, transponder. This
nice.
Is your standard 9-pack with some extra tools, obviously, in there for you. So she is kind of like your general aviation flyer. It's probably, I would say out of our portfolio, Gravel, the most general aviated aircraft out here. So
yeah, this is the less extreme one here. I think the night lighting is also quite pleasant. So if you want to chill at night, you can reduce the lighting. There's that's nice.
I like that control panel it has.
Some of the cages and some of the switches. There's a little thing that is illuminating. There you go. It's only illuminating 2 cages, but that's as per the original, for example.
I'm waiting for somebody to go crazy and give us like, you know, the
so it is a very
the disco LED lighting in a plane.
A little cabin light there as well. So
I need some party interiors badly for followers.
I think it's really a very natural feel. Beautiful.
We need some interiors that. Oh,
does
Jane.
it include the dog and cat from the 2020 version?
It does not.
She gives good microphone settings, man.
Those features out. However,
The best.
No Got Friends, we're probably going to be working on another dog and cat type adventure in the future with 2024. So,
Nice. Does it have standard autopilot?
it does.
He said, yeah.
It has the KAP 140 autopilot system. If you're familiar with that. So there's a few systems out there, but that's the one we're using in this aircraft.
Infrared spying.
It's quite an old aircraft.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, this actually came out in I believe the 1970s is when this platform started its production.
Yeah.
So it's a really old aircraft, but it looks very futuristic. They were way ahead of their time, I think.
Those designs, that design shows up in like ancient
All right, so we're gonna go ahead
Aztec designs.
aircraft, Jane.
So I think it's been around a lot longer than we think.
All right, so just a couple more chat questions while you switch over. Really interested in those cameras. What options are there? FLIR, low light, etc.
So currently we have EO wide, which is your full color spectrum. We have IR hot
Right.
and IR cold, which is just kind of inverting the coldness.
I need something going on in the background.
Military background, so that's kind of what we did there. And then we also can adjust contrast on the fly. The fly, you can turn off your systems, and it displays all the information on top, like your latitude, longitude, date, zoom. So there's some good features there with the camera.
Awesome.
So the next aircraft we're going to be highlighting, were the next two, are our gliders that we're working for Flight Sim 2024. Specifically the Stemme S12-G.
Is that one the Lexus? Somebody was describing one of these as like the Cadillac or like the Lexus of gliders. Luxury glider. If I have the
Friends is presenting their aircraft. Chat, if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask in chat. We'll get to it during their presentation or while they're switching in between planes.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's loading in.
Good.
No, as a reminder, if you haven't purchased Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 or 2024 yet, remember
Mode mean that it's part of the SDK, so
you can redeem your Microsoft reward points or gift cards for the Microsoft Store.
I don't think that's something that they can answer specifically.
That can lead to big savings.
And give us a little bit of weather here, so we have some gliding.
On another note, I've heard that if you order the Premium Deluxe of 2020 and you have it,
This is the
you'll get all your Premium Deluxe planes in 2024.
once again, as I just do a quick little pre-flight, I'll let Gravel talk about the specifics.
All right, so here we have a very, very large glider, 25-meter wingspan. That's a fair bit more than the usual 15 or 18, which you typically find. It is a side-by-side Grand Tourer, if you will. Motorized by petrol engine, so not even electric here. So you got the Rotex 914 turbo in there. So it is kind of, you can fly it like a normal aircraft if you want to, or as a glider. So it's a great aircraft to go into if you want to start gliding, because the cockpit will feel familiar. You got 2 G3Xs, things like that. Very comfortable aircraft. But the moment you're in glide mode, the propeller will completely stow inside the cone. The cone nose will actually come out and hide the entire propeller. Solar powered as well. We actually did quite a bit of coding to make the solar
Wow.
really torque. It really looks at where the sun is and how much solar charge you actually would get from that particular situation on a battery. So you have a really in-depth simulation of all the avionics because of that as well. Brendan, you want to show something already?
Yeah, so we just did engine startup on this thing, just quick, to showcase the aircraft, and we're getting our Garmin G3Xs set up. This is our brand new LX navigation system. So here you can do north-up displays, you can do thermal tracking, which we'll leave on for the day's flight. Zooming, obviously. We have multiple pages, and these are fully customizable, so you're able to select on, like, objects like the speed ribbon and altitude ribbon, and if you go back, you can see they're now removed from the display.
Oh, it's going to get good. Hang on.
If you want to put something else in a certain area, like the red, you select it here, maybe ground altitude, select in this area, and then let's see, we got ground altitude there, and you can see it pop up. So this is very customizable for everybody who's involved in gliding tasks, as far as going from general to waypoints as well. So you can have your current waypoint, waypoint +1, waypoint +2, and finish.
Yep.
We also have some additional settings in here if you want to change your units. As you can see, it's talking to the sister unit as well. It will change the units. The speed talks to the airspeed gauge, so you can switch those on the fly. Same with the altitude. Distance, which changes on the display, and then you can also change your themes from light to dark as well.
And since this was developed by Ian, it is fully compatible with the gliding task you may be familiar with already on the various Discord servers. So if you want to join flight groups, you have the tasks, it will fully work with the system. That's quite nice. The V8 then, Brendan?
Vario? Yes, the Vario, yep. And the Vario is very similar. They're talking hand in hand. You can push it to get 360 thermal track. You have your wind indicator, as well as a attitude horizon gauge. And then you got some various settings, which are pretty similar to the same settings in the LX system. There's a few different ones like variotone, where you can show your positive or positive and negative. You can adjust your volume here for your variotone. You can right click on it to change positive to negative. Then you can also adjust your McReady or change your scale.
McReady.
So let's
get
in the air.
Yeah. Even though you have wing walkers, it is fully self-launch capable, this one. It has wheels side by side.
The bush.
Unlike most gliders, so you can actually taxi here like a normal aircraft all the way from the hangar. Although you have to watch your wing strike, obviously. But yeah, it is the perfect aircraft to get started with in gliding if you're familiar with regular GA aircraft. You just fly it as such as you will. You want to start gliding, you just stow the engine, and there you go. It's got a glide ratio of 53:1, so quite generous for a non-competitive glider, so-called. And it is very stately to fly, especially because of that big wingspan. Gives a lot of moment in the wings, of course. So it's very easy to handle in the mountains with some rich turbulence, things like this.
Mountains. It's good to know.
Quite a cool performance.
And we're off.
There you go.
So I really think people are going to really enjoy the motor gliders that we're bringing to the sim. They're a little bit more conventional and definitely have that engine safety to kind of help a lot of the new glider pilots kind of get used to the procedures of gliding before they decide to go full engine off. So I feel like people are going to really enjoy this. Like Raymond said, it's a Grand Tour class.
I know some glider pilots who are going to love the heck out of it.
Flights.
Cheers. Cheers.
You
Cheers.
could do a transatlantic in this one. You could try it.
These people rock.
Here too, we've fully modeled out wing flex as well.
Yeah.
Made sure to give it the characteristics the gliders definitely need.
Yeah, so the flaps as well will typically be are configured to work the way you would expect them for gliders.
Uh-oh. Getting a little max headroom action going on.
You really change the flaps. Then with the flap setting, it will attract a certain speed as well. It will limit your need to trim.
Scotty, we need more power.
Try.
You're
losing me?
you
I'm sorry.
Scotty.
Oh, am I okay now? I thought
Nah.
slower.
Some subspace distortion. Uhura, clean that up.
I'm gonna rejoin and
That's all good.
Don't worry, I'll talk a little bit more, and
Sounds
then
good.
we'll switch to the next one. So, as you can see, these two units are fully talking together. And what's really nice is Ian B21. Big shout out to him for helping us develop this gauge, because it also works with the common glider task, which a lot of the glider community is used to. And so we hope that they really enjoy this, and we see this system pop up in more gliders in the future. I feel like a lot of people are really going to enjoy the prospect of it. So,
The future's so bright, we're all gonna have to wear shades.
So,
All right, sounds good. Chat, if you have any questions about that glider, feel free to ask in chat now. I think we maybe got you back, Raymond. You're looking better. You're
Yeah,
muted.
okay, Ken.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay. Phew.
Okay, now.
Is it weird to fall in love with somebody's microphone settings?
So thank you. Brendan is now loading the Pipistrel or Pipistrel, I don't even know how to pronounce it honestly, Taurus-M. It is a very different sort of glider. 15-meter wingspan, still motorized by a Rotex, a 503 this time, so two-stroke, two-cylinder, quite a bit less horsepower, but very different to fly. Because of that 15-meter, it is a lot more nimble, a bit more sporty. And you will see once it's loaded that the cockpit has a very open, almost like roller coaster type of design, where you just sit in the pit and there's a very small instrument panel only, so you have a wonderful view. It feels very different to fly this one. Very pleasant. There you go. Obviously a lot shorter. And Brennan
all right,
is
we're
going
in.
to, yep. Amazing aircraft. The propeller is made of wood. This one gives you a bit of, yeah, nostalgia maybe. Again, side-by-side wheels, so you can, just like the Stemme, taxi all the way from the hangar if you want to. Self-launch capable. And Brendan is
so this is the engine bay that Raymond's talking about, where you're going to see the engine extend out of.
This
is the one.
Power. So, of course, when you run the engine, just like the Stemme, you don't have to worry about power, because the moment you run the engine, the generator will charge the batteries. But once your engine is off in your glider mode, then obviously the solar panel will help power the avionics and the avionics battery.
So we're
There
going
you
to
go.
go ahead and extend the engine, so you can see it extend here.
There it goes. Beautiful propeller. Nicely modeled cargo bay also for it. You can see the pit which I mentioned. It's quite an open design. The seats in nice colors. Very pleasant to fly and dash around the Alps.
Something unique on the Taurus is the air brake is the parking brake. So to release your parking brake, you release your speed brake.
They're only broadcasting at 1080p. I've got it at max quality. So I'm on fiber optic. So if they were broadcasting higher, I could get it.
Okay.
It's a Twitch
A
thing.
few questions we got.
I think.
Will the glider have working wipers?
I'm assuming they're talking about the insect wipers. We have not added those insect wipers to our gliders right now. It's something we can definitely look at in the future. It's a little complex because of wing flex, and there's a lot of bone armatures going on for anyone who's has
Bug juice
of the 3D sense of that.
People want bug juice.
Something we don't plan on release, but something we could look definitely into the future for an update.
Cool. Another question.
Yeah, and for
Oh,
bug
go
wipers, we also need to consider. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
all you.
For bug wipers, you also need to consider the impact on the. Okay, yeah, the impact on the actual aircraft performance. So the lower you are, the more bugs you get, the more drag and you get, and the less lift, of course. So once we do this, we'll get that in as well. Go for the full Monty.
And then, go ahead. Sorry.
Next question: can avionics on this be popped out on screen? I think meaning the last time.
I personally haven't tried. I don't know the hotkey for that in 2024. It's probably not something.
A very interesting dashboard.
I believe HTML in 2020 was pop out, so I just haven't tried that in 2024.
Okay. Last question: do you use a GPS to adjust weight and fuel?
Use GPS.
Maybe they mean. Nope, don't know what they mean. We'll see if we get a clarification on that question.
Yeah, it's something to adjust weight and fuel. We bring up this EFB.
EFB. Maybe they meant the EFB.
And then you can
The electronic feedback.
adjust your seats, ballast, fuel. So it's very similar to the top panel that we
Nom.
The EFB is way more fully encompassed now and has multiple applications on it.
Awesome.
Nom.
And something that's really cool about the Taurus, you saw me do a self-launch there, but as you can kind of see from the front, we also have winch and tow plane hookups on the belly and on the nose. So we are able to do conventional glider takeoff and then turn on your engine in flight to extend your flight hours. So you don't have to just do an autonomous launch. You can do any of the three, which is really fun if you're looking for that kind of experience. But yeah, for this, you saw me obviously do a self-launch.
Mm-hmm.
Like is common for most motorized gliders, there's separate batteries for engine and avionics as well. So everything is fully simulated for both the Stemme and the Taurus.
And this one will go ahead and just shut down the engine in flight.
Stick around. I think there's going to be some
How that works.
bigger announcements coming up.
I think I shut down.
You may want to slow down a little bit. Just like in the real aircraft, you need to reach a
Yep.
certain maximum speed before you can actually slow down the propeller. There you go.
There we go.
And that's there to simulate it. Because
That's cool.
to be below a certain speed, otherwise the wind the term will just keep your propeller going, and you won't be able to fold.
And now we're in full.
I'm going to need that. I suck
So we
at
just go ahead and switch
gliders.
our systems.
Just
You
awful.
can start the engine back up whenever you want. So that is the Taurus, and it's using, as you can see, the same LX nav system, same family suite as the Stemme. So we're bringing that kind of standard across the gliders. And we'll go
That's
ahead
awesome.
and move on to a little bit of Bush if there's any more questions. So
Okay, go ahead.
I think this is the Bush plane that everybody wanted.
Handle on the ground when it's super windy.
they're very lightweight aircraft. I'm sure Ray can talk your ear off about this one.
Yeah, they're very lightweight, and it's the wingspan especially. They obviously catch a lot of wind, so yeah, you need to watch your wing strikes. Other than that, no problem. Especially when you have a runway and you don't have too much crosswind, you'll be fine. It's just easy to take off. It can handle it.
Let's go to the Garden of the Gods over there.
Yeah, go ahead, Brennan.
Yeah, I was going to say the next aircraft we're going to be testing is going to be the Draco X, which many of you are probably familiar with, is Mike Patey's crazy innovation and design. That he's
Here it comes.
working on right now. So he's working on the Draco X in real life, and we're building it in the sim. And when things start getting updated, we're going to be updating on our end. So it's going to be kind of a really fun experience for everybody to
Anytime now.
witness the journey going on there. Mike's been a great partner to work with. He's been extremely grateful for all the support he's given us and all the things, because the original Draco was lost, but we were able to get as much data as we could and pictures and references in order to accurately recreate the Draco X, but give it those improvements that Mike wants to do at the same time. So we hope you guys are excited for that one. We're going to take it for a quick flight in Utah, right next to Mike's hometown. So we are in game and ready.
Nice. There it is.
Here we go.
Look at that thing. Look at the shocks on that thing. Yes.
You realize the absolute size of this behemoth. And once again, it's a 1,000 horsepower turboprop engine. It's
1,000.
slapped to a Wilga 2000 airframe. And as you can see here, we got the
2024 pinpoints.
So we got a little bit of wind today, but not too much. But
Inspection points.
Go ahead and let Ray talk a little bit more about the Draco as I complete free flight.
I want shocks like that on everything I own.
Differences with Draco, if you know that aircraft, 5 blades instead of 4. The wings are wider. There's some other details that are different. Very, very powerful. I mean, 1,000 horsepower on an aircraft this weight is just pretty crazy. After takeoff, you can literally go up 50 degrees and maintain. It's pretty nuts. But what we really wanted to do is is not just fly by the numbers or things like that. We want to capture the feel that you have. It is really a lot of raw, untamed power. And the moment you start the engine, you really feel that. Because the suspension is quite loose, enormous shock travel. And the moment you have the power running, you really go through your main gear, and the moment you brake a little bit, you bounce a little bit on the tail wheel. The whole aircraft just wants to move. It just know it needs to be contained, and if you're not careful, it'll run away from you. So one of the things we're really happy about is we managed to get the Draco squat in. If you know that from YouTube, it basically means that once you have your brakes applied and you give power, it will really go through its main shocks all the way, and then you can release the brakes and it'll just take off. In about 90 to 100 feet, you're airborne. And for an aircraft this size, that's unheard of.
Why they don't have shocks like that on helicopters?
We are currently
I don't know.
Cargo version, so we don't
On everything.
passenger seats. So the Draco is going to be used in 2024 for a plethora of missions. So we have light cargo coming, we have search and rescue coming.
Nice.
We have passenger transport coming, we have sightseeing coming, private charter coming. So the Draco is kind of a workhorse of 2024 when it comes to career path. So
Wow.
if you really want to do some crazy stuff,
Exactly, Jane.
absolutely can. Something I do want to highlight as well, since I'm in dev mode here, is you can absolutely get very dirty. Dust, mud, dirt. And this is something here. We go do a quick outside run right there of it so you can see the detail. So we made sure on all our care to put into the dust and mud. So as you're getting this thing muddy, it's tracking everything. So depending on how long you land on certain areas, it will completely get dirty just the way the Bush boys like it. So
Wait.
And one thing the Bush boys like to do in this one is stall competitions. So if you go for short takeoffs and short landings or stall drag races, it's all easily possible in this one. For the stall competitions, we have built-in performance metrics inside the G3X. So you actually automatically see your takeoff roll and your landing roll as well. So that makes it very easy for the boys to do competition on this one. We carefully watch the stall drag races done in the original Draco, see how it behaves, how it does the forward slip during the braking phase of the drags, and make sure it behaves in a very, very similar, if not identical way. So you can have a lot of fun doing stall competitions in this one.
we also have a fully working oxygen system that checks your blood oxygen saturation level. It is probably the most in-depth oxygen checker in the sim. Raymond has done a fantastic job at that. And as you can see here, you're probably wondering, how am I going to get forward? I got a fuel box directly in front of me, hence the reason we spawned here. So we're going to go ahead and throw our propeller right into reverse thrust. And as you can see here, we are fully reversing with a full 360 castering tail wheel here. And we are now clear of the fuel box. So something really cool the Draco does is I have full reverse, so that you can get out of sticky situations like that, or just like Mike, you saw him in some of his videos, he would go up to his hangar, do a 360, and then back up into his hangar. Really fun stuff.
Or win a stall competition by braking really, really short by throwing into reverse thrust just before your touchdown. That's sort of fun.
Nice. That's going to be crazy.
Literally at like 2% throttle, this thing has a lot of power. So we'll go ahead and stop here. And Ray, this is where you can talk a little bit about your squat. So I'll go ahead and give it the custom squat physics. So I'm going to give it full power.
Right. There you go. So watch the main gear. See, it really goes through his knees like the real Draco. And the moment Brandon will let go, it will just want to take off, and he's ready for takeoff. At the moment you brake a little bit, you see the plane wobble. The suspension is enormous. It's about 10-inch suspension for the tail wheel, more than 40-inch or 14 on the main gear. That is very, very generous.
As you can see here, we got airflow flowing over the rudder and elevator as well.
That's the other thing. There's static thrust turbulence. So when you're on the ground, the airflow and propeller will actually come around, and both the rudder and elevator will just vibrate in all that powerful prop wash. So we did everything we could basically to get that raw power feel in.
Something as well. This also has an IR camera built in as well. But we're going to go ahead and take off Mike Patty style. So full thrust, let go of the brakes, drop our flaps, and let's go for it.
There you go.
All right. And the Draco
And
be
we're
used for glider towing. You mentioned it's in a lot of careers. Can it tow a glider as well?
If the glider can handle it.
Yeah, currently it might remove the gliding hook on the tail wheel of the wheel guy. So we didn't put it on the Draco X, but technically anyone can edit something, right, and make it tow gliders.
You could do a lot of things. It's really quite versatile. It even has working door seals that can be inflated to insulate the outside cockpit sound and keep the pressure in. That too is simulated, so you actually can hear the sound of the inflation, deflation of the door seals as well.
Wow, that's interesting.
Everything is in the entire electrical system. All circuit breakers are working. All the lights, if you know the original Draco, you know it can be quite a light show. There's lights below the wings.
We live in amazing times.
An airliner light facing backwards, so Mike's buddies can find them easily in the sky. So they look for this torch light. So that too is there. So it is just fully.
We got modifiable interior lighting. And then let's go ahead and do the light show. Everyone likes the light show.
This is a gentleman from my area in the simulator that plays. His name, his handle is
probably the Draco.
Muslims Got Beef.
So,
and he loves his bush planes.
Lights.
That's lovely.
We don't want to cover every single light here, but she easily has like 17 lights installed on her total or something. So
yeah.
The Bell and Howell military tactical lights. The flashlights, these lights will shine 200 miles.
Ray was saying when you're flying with your friends so they can see you in the distance.
Everything's there.
So, yeah, we'll go ahead and switch to our last aircraft, guys, which is...
We need the Bell and Howell military flashlights to strap onto our Cessnas. My gosh. Talk about under-illuminated.
We put in on the Norden.
This is an aircraft we wanted.
I'd pay for that as a DLC. Some duct tape and some of those super flashlights.
Microsoft and the Sobo, we were able to do it officially. So we have a very good recreation of the Norden. The owner of the Norden is very happy with it.
Yeah, let's skip on lights on our famous training plane.
Yeah, a Swiss Army knife of bush planes, basically. You can just really explore the wilds. It's got sleds, electrically operated in the front. It's got double slotted flaps also, so you can do everything you want to get that lift in and go into difficult tight spots and get out of them as well. Like the real Norden, you can do a forward slip under a 45-degree bank and just maintain that. So it is crazy capable. It's really a wonderful aircraft. And here it is, the Norden. I'm sure Brendan has a lot to show on this one.
I do, and as you can see here, this is a beautiful area to test it. We're at Thomas Creek in Idaho, and
those rocks.
Guys, getting ready for pre-flight here. It's an absolutely gorgeous.
Look at those tires. Yeah.
Cloud cover. It's a slight.
Their rocks in the background are fantastic.
There we go. A little bit of clouds. As you can see, she's also pretty big. Not as big as the Draco. And yeah, Ray, go ahead and talk a little bit about her as I take up some chalks and stuff.
Yep. So quite powered, definitely no 1,000 horsepower like Draco, but there's still a Rotex 916 IS in there. There's still 160 horsepower, and for this weight, it is enormous. So very powerful. Also here, we wanted the immersion in. So just like with the Draco, actually, which you did not mention, we got vibrations in as well. So it will really respond to the lovely new terrain that the new sim will have.
I think the terrain is going to blow you away in 2024.
Because the G-forces will literally translate into vibrating components like your control stick, etc.
You've got to be super careful with landing now.
What I want to show here, Ray, is as you can see on the bottom here, we have a banner towing hook. Yes. So we're currently in the banner towing variant. So the Norden has multiple variants as well. So we have banner towing available. We have light cargo transport, which removes the rear seats. We have passenger transport. And the Norden is kind of like the all-around, like Ray was saying, the Swiss Army knife. So there's a lot of career paths that you can go with the Norden, as well as customizability, which I'll show you here. So inside we have our little Norden notepad, and these are fully customizable options. So you can turn on dash vibration on or off, which you'll see here. And we allow that option in case people get a little motion sickness from the dash vibrating, because it's sitting on some cushions and does some subtle vibrations. You can hide your seat belts as well in case you're flying from the rear seat and you don't want to see that in your way. You can put a sleeping setup in the rear. So if you do sleeping setup, you can see
Nice.
you have a nice sleeping bag. You can go ahead and take this out of the bush. You can turn on your lights.
I want the RV package for some of my planes.
And, smoke generator if you want to generate smoke, you know, aerobatic smoke for your friends. And then we have headphone options, obviously. And then this is the big one. So we have livery styles. So we're currently in livery style 1, as you can see. And our engine cowling is removed. And so you can go ahead and change that by installing your engine cowling. And this is all multiplayer. And so players will be able to fully customize this thing. We can change our livery style. You can now see it's flat black. Livery style 2, got some different colors on the nose. And then livery style 3, which changes up that entire look. And so we have multiple livery options that change the color.
You need that flat black for the illicit cargo runs.
And then on top of that, you got 4 styles, which all go through the multiplayer aspect. So you can really make this Norden your own, make it as mean as you want to make it. We love the engine,
it's cool.
Off the engine cowling. I'll go ahead and show you guys just the detail that's kind of gone into the engine as well.
There's the Rotex 916.
Far out.
We absolutely love this Norden. Working with Zlin Aviation has been a fantastic pleasure, I think, for the entire team. They've been very good with us. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start her up. So we're going to go ahead and... Go ahead.
Yep.
Sorry.
It also has custom avionics for the altimeter and the airspeed indicator, as per the real Norden. So that is all there as well.
Folks, that looks like so much fun. If you're just tuning in, quick reminder, if you haven't purchased 2024 yet,
which is really nice,
and you have Microsoft reward points building up,
that I'm going to try my best to avoid on takeoff.
You can redeem all your Microsoft reward points for Microsoft Store gift cards.
I believe this is like a little bug going on right now. There's some rocks on the runway where it shouldn't, but we're going to take off right before we get to this big one right in the middle. There you go.
Wow. That was fast. So I got $50 off on the
as you can see, we
standard edition.
You can go ahead and drop it, pick up the banner when you're doing your mission. So, and we have those controls in this variant alone down here in the cockpit for the hook, and then for the banner pole, which you can rotate as well. So,
on the subject of 2024, I've heard now that
it's equipped with that G3X touch, like Raymond was talking about, custom avionics. And she's kind of your typical bush flyer, go anywhere, do anything. So we believe that there's going to be a lot of flying in this thing to have fun out in the wilderness, whether you're in Alaska, deep in the woods in like Europe. There's going to be a lot of fun to have. But
cool.
We hope.
So if you have the premium deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020.
The Taurus and the Norden that you see on
all of your deluxe planes will be given to you in 2024 if you order the standard.
See you guys flying. Ray, do you have any closing remarks?
We love you all.
You people rock. You guys rock. I know they can't hear me, but
hope you enjoy your aircraft, guys.
Sending it out there in spirit. You people rock. All these developers today rock. They're all rock stars.
Are we able to turn off Garmin avionics like in some IRL Nordens?
turn off the avionics?
I think so, to just fly.
Yes, you can. You just pop the
Okay.
breakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. All circuit breakers are fully functional.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So you're able to pop multiple things, whether it's your comm, your nav, your
entire electrical
combination
system
gauge.
is,
You can kill
yeah.
really everything you want. So
It's fully simulated per the original electrical schematics, so everything is there.
Hey, please like and subscribe. And if you need somebody to subscribe to you, please say hi in the chat room, that I can easily go to your name
on some like the Norden, we put
and click go to channel
every single thing is functional.
and
Up to the electric.
pull up your channel and hit subscribe.
There's a lot of fun to have, whether you're having failures or not. So
Right.
wear and tear, full mud as well. I'll go ahead and just show a little bit of that mud before we close out here. Everybody loves mud. So we give it some dust. As you can see, we already had some mud, some dirt.
We love to
So-
see it. That looks great.
And that's it. So we're going to go ahead and
All
let the
right.
other two developers take their time. So we're really excited to hear from High Performance Group and MilTech as well. So
Yeah. Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Chunks
I
about
can't wait
presentation.
to see what's coming up next.
What to expect on November 19th. Appreciate you coming on. Our next developer group we have is MilTech. So MilTech
They're saving the best for last.
over.
I was kind of hoping they would do that.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Gabriel, head of development and managing director of MilTech Simulation, and here we have Daniel, who is our head of aircraft development.
Rock stars.
So we are here to present a bit of a different aircraft, definitely a little bigger than what you have seen so far, the C-17 Globemaster 3. So we got it here in MSFS 2024. And it's fully cold and dark right now. But, well, as we talk a little about the aircraft, we're going to start it up and do a quick flight for you guys. So, first of all, well, the C-17, as you know, it's a heavy cargo aircraft. Let me show you the outside. We're here in Winnipeg with the Royal Canadian Air Force livery. It's a heavy cargo aircraft flown by the Canadian Air Force, by the US Air Force, the Royal Air Force in the UK, Australian Air Force, a bunch of operators. It's not the heaviest cargo aircraft in their fleets usually. In the case of USAF in particular, it's not their heaviest, but it's one of the more versatile aircraft on the fleets, basically because it can take off from very short runways with a very high payload. I think Dan has the actual numbers for payload capacity and such.
Yeah, we have 585,000 pounds all up weight, which
Crazy.
is around 170,000 pounds of cargo. And that's cargo that we present in many different ways. So I'm sure we'll go over it in a bit, but we've got tons of different cargo layouts from.
So we can do a nightclub in the back, you're saying? We can finally have a party environment?
And they're just a few. There are tons of them. But
I want to see a bunch of couches.
Still get up on a runway that's around 3,500 feet long.
Maybe some Frazetta paintings on the outside.
I think the C-17 is able to land at its maximum all-up weight as well. So it's an
Very close to micro. Yeah.
absolute beast of an aircraft when it comes to it. And that's all thanks to those 4 huge engines on it as well.
So one of the challenges that we actually had is deciding what loads to model. There's so many things. I was actually just watching a few days ago the launch of the AeroElvira, the satellite going to Jupiter now, and it was actually carried on a C-17. So there's a lot of discussion on future additions to the cargo loads. We currently have 7, which are the most common ones.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, stick around. The best is yet to come.
Get started with turning on the battery, and as you can see, a lot of displays light up, and some of them are doing testing. So one thing you'll see right away is that this aircraft is full with screens. There's 4 MFDs right in the center. There's 4 little screens right here, which are your mission displays, or mission computer displays, which is essentially your FMS. There's the 2 navigation communication displays, and then overhead you have a bunch of little LCDs and the web display, which is your warnings display right here. So yeah, there's a lot of screens. And as you can see, some of them have error messages. That's just because I don't have the the RIUs aligned. So I'm just gonna go ahead and align all 4 RIUs here. And I'm gonna go ahead and also start the APU. So with this, we're just gonna have electrical power for now. And I'll do a quick walk around of the cockpit. Right here, we have our custom EFB. And there's also the EFB that comes with MSFS. So these 2 are different in fully independent systems. We have plans to bring essentially what's our own implementation of the EFB into the MSFS.
2 electronic feedbacks. Nom, 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 nom.
Device. But right here, you have all of the services, the doors, rams, engine covers, then fuel capacity. And we actually modeled the ER version, the extended range version. So you have some extra fuel. Here's the payloads. And as you can see, we have Humvees, we have heavy vehicles, we have presidential caravans, and a bunch of other things. And finally, we have a little map here to locate the aircraft in the world. So we have the same thing. It's not only here in the cockpit, we have the same thing back in the Globemaster station, and we're just gonna go there for a moment.
I don't think hot tubs are gonna work, but...
And then let's just go down here. Well, this is the rest area for the aircraft.
Nice.
For long flights, you usually have 2 crews resting here. And we go down to the cargo bay. And it's a massive cargo bay. And it's fully modeled. So right here we have the door.
So we can have the bar over here.
Of the aircraft. We have
and some loungers over here.
And you'll find a few Easter eggs.
We're gonna need more bathrooms.
There's a few Easter eggs if you go around this area. There's also a little galley here. And very important, the Globemaster station. So with such the
DJ station
and carrying such big loads, it's very important that your center of gravity is well balanced. Otherwise, you can put the aircraft into a very uncomfortable situation. So we go here to the little laptop, and as you
crazy,
there's a little match to the old flight simulators. But right here, we can select any of the different cargo options that we want. For example, the CH-47 fuselage, and it's gonna spawn right inside of the cargo bay. Right next to the list of options, we can also find this. This is a center of gravity and also maximum takeoff weight diagram. So the little dot in the center, the blue dot, is going to indicate the center of gravity depending on the loads. So you can mess around with the different loads and you'll see that the center of gravity changes. And also the takeoff weight is going to change. You can pretty much max it out if you put fuel and weight.
You got Flight Simulator X in the background on their screen.
Situation to be in. But as you can see, we have some presidential vehicles here.
I think we're going to Saudi Arabia.
This one's to take off. You can also open all of
delivering some VIPs.
But you can open the ramps in the back, and for that you will need hydraulic pressure, which we don't currently have. We only have electrical system enabled, and the 2 paratrooper doors can also be opened. So I'm gonna go ahead back to the cockpit, and I'll just engage my hydraulic pumps so you can see how the ramp operates. So with this aircraft, you can use the 2 auxiliary electrical pumps, and that's going to give you enough pressure to just operate any of the doors in the aircraft. So we can go back to services, and hydraulic press is insufficient, so I need pressure on this one as well. Yeah. So you need pressure on systems number 213. Yes.
You, Billy Joel's pressure.
And we can move the ramp. Not sure if you guys are getting any sounds, but these are fully modeled.
Hop in, we're going to Vegas.
The guy who worked on this actually went on the field on an active C-17 recording everything. Shout out to Tyler from Econ 18, great sounds. Engine sounds are also from a real C-17. All of the sounds, even the switches, the warnings, everything has been recorded from a C-17. So as you can see, we have the ramps. We can also open the paratrooper doors, and that has their own wind deflector. And yep, all of those are fully modeled. So let's go back in the cockpit, close everything, and get the engines started.
And yes, for those asking in chat, we don't have sound, unfortunately, today due to technical limitations, so it'll be a nice surprise for you then when you see the sounds in the sim.
It sounds very nice.
Very nice surprise, yeah. It's brilliant to fly the thing around and actually hear all of the correct warnings, and even things like the ramp noises and hydronic pumps are there. And it must be.
I think having a British accent just makes you sound legit
Gone to
for whatever reason.
great lengths to simulate the systems of the real 7.
You just sound more
with it being
authoritative.
active military aircraft. There's only so far that we can delve into something being study level.
Yeah.
I would like to put my weight behind it being relatively study level for what it can be, but there are things that even when we're working with Air Force members and with the correct manuals and all that sort of stuff, we still can't get information or simulate things. But everything that is there should work like it should.
Yep. That's
sense.
definitely a limitation with whenever you're working with military aircraft, especially if they're in active service. For example, the mission displays right here, these are completely classified. There's literally zero information. There's one diagram on the manual and a couple of images online. That's everything you'll find about them. But we were able to just put pieces together, just look at those images to kind of see how the interface looks like. And
They let you play it once and then they kill you.
manufacturer who made them, and then based on other things that the manufacturer has done for commercial aircraft, we have a system that it's fully functional and that will take you from A to B fully IFR. But we are not entirely sure how accurate it is to the reality, just because it's fully classified and there's no information about it. Everything else, the displays, the multifunction displays, the overhead panel, everything else is not classified and it works as it should, except for a minor couple of things, which are station keeping and anything regarding defense systems that, of course, because of how MSFS works, it's just not modeled. So I got distracted.
Stark technology.
Engage my second starter here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll probably start a couple of engines at the same time just to save some time. So yeah,
I'm sorry, Alpha Flight, Canadian.
Startup process, and in the meantime, I'll show you the multifunctional displays. So here you have the PFD, standard things.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, no, you haven't missed it yet. The best is yet to come.
Your headings, then you
It hasn't happened yet.
And you have two different options. You have this one, which is the compass rose version, and the map version. And this right here, the yellow thing you see, it's a terrain radar. So you can here you can switch between terrain and weather radar. We don't currently have any weather, so I'm going to make it a bit rainy. So adding some rain, you'll see, let's rain again. Here, you'll see the weather radar up.
I think you're going to love the weather in 2020 is good, but I think you're going to love it in 2024, especially with the lighting.
TCAS system, essentially. Then the engines, as you can see, here's the summary page. We also have the detail page and the engine oil page, and finally the configuration page. Here you will see the brake temperatures, and all of these are modeled. You'll see your control surfaces as they move. We can move the flaps right now since we have some hydraulic pressure. Let's engage all these pumps right here.
Dang. They weren't kidding.
And yep, that's good engine start on 3 of the engines, just waiting for the last one. And since we have rainy conditions, I'll show you some of the effects. All of the engines have this sort of effect in rainy conditions and also snow conditions. and also dirty conditions. If, for example, you're flying near a desert or anything where it's sandy,
Denver,
the sand pick up as well. So good start on all 4 of the engines, and we're ready to go. So
flying through our dark cloud.
Engage quickly the generators so I don't lose any power. Turn off the APU.
Some things. Your lights.
My lights are off, yes. So let's just turn these on. Well, landing lights are okay.
Lights on the C-17 are something that we put extra special focus into. Basically, most of the lighting systems that are listed in the manual are in the C-17, and they work as they should and look as they should, which might not sound like much, but when you start finding light switches absolutely everywhere, even on the side consoles at the back, you realize that this aircraft has a lot of individual lighting systems.
Yeah.
Tell me about the disco lights. I just want to know about the disco lights.
2 of the landing lights, and actually the landing lights on the C-17 can be oriented down or forward. That's fully modeled. I currently have 1 oriented down for some reason. Let me figure it out why. I think it's this one. Well, it would help if I turn on the cockpit lights. And all of these are fully modeled as well. But yeah, this thing has, I don't even know how many lights. There's a lot of lights.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. You haven't missed it yet.
Things like dim the formation lights. We've gone to that level of detail, and the refueling entry lights, refueling floodlights, fuselage spotlights for your icing conditions. We have 2 different color modes for the cargo bay. We've got all of the individual panels can be lit on digit lighting, flow lighting, and backlighting, and then sometimes even flood lighting. It's absolutely crazy with the amount of lights it's got on it.
Yeah, there's just so many things on this aircraft. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take off. And one thing that I want to mention, well, 2 things that I want to mention while I do that is, first of all, fly-by-wire system. So this is one of the questions that a lot of people were asking on Discord. Yes, we have a currently fully customized fly-by-wire system on the aircraft, mainly because, well, fly-by-wire doesn't really work well on 4 engines, but we made it work. We created our own system, and that's also important because the C-17 was actually the first aircraft in active military service to include a fly-by-wire system in 1993. And back then, fly-by-wire was a new technology, so they decided to also allow the pilot to disengage fly-by-wire at any time. So we have 6 switches actually on the overhead panel that allow you to disable fly-by-wire on all of the different axes. And we can actually do that with the custom system. So I'll take off and show you how it works. Another thing that the C-17 is very famous for is the tactical descents. The tactical descents is basically going from, I think it's 35,000 feet, so cruise altitude, to very low, basically approach altitudes on a very short amount of time. That's probably a couple of minutes.
Do you remember doing those missions in FSX?
Full,
crazy.
Spoilers, sometimes flaps as well, and most importantly, the reverse thrust in flight. C-17 is probably the only aircraft that can engage reverse thrust while in flight. So that's currently partially modeled. You can do tactical descents, and one side, I'm forgetting here my aileron trim. So you can do tactical descents without the reverse thrust right now. You'll be able to engage reverse thrust in the future. There's just limitations in the sim that we need to bypass, and we are working towards that. So in the future,
thanks for tuning in. No, you haven't missed it yet.
Tactical descents. So as you can see here, we took off at a very low speed. The C-17 can actually do that. And I'm going to make it daytime just so it's a little easier to see out of the window, because essentially what I want to show you is the fly-by-wire system. So let's just catch some airspeed. And I'm not flying the greatest right now because I'm on Xbox controller, and this is not my usual setup. But basically the fly-by-wire system is going to hold your attitude at whatever altitude you set the aircraft. So right here, these are my fly-by-wire switches. And if I let the aircraft go, it should hold the altitude. Wait one sec, there's something overriding my fly-by-wire logic. Yeah, so there you go. The aircraft is flying, and I'm now overspeeding. I'm not the greatest pilot right now. But as you can see, the aircraft is just holding the altitude as it should with a fly-by-wire system. If I turn right, the aircraft is also going to hold the altitude at that specific bank angle. But if I go ahead and disable fly-by-wire here, and I'm going to go to full mechanical, now the aircraft is in fully mechanical mode, which means there's no augmentation by the fly-by-wire system. And if I turn right, the aircraft no longer holds actively pitch or bank in this case. So the fly-by-wire can be fully deactivated if you wish, but generally you'll have it always on. The other component about this aircraft that is quite particular is the autopilot panel. It's fairly standard compared to other aircraft that you might be that you might know. But the peculiarities with this one is that it can follow TACANs, and it can also follow approach paths that are not the usual 3 degrees. So those ones are partially simulated. And
TACANs are military radio, like VOR.
That are particular to the C-17. So overall, we have an aircraft that is, fairly detailed for the limitations that we face with military aircraft. As Dan said, we don't want to say study level because there's definitely things that are not 100% accurate just because of limitations. But it's fairly detailed in terms of systems, and you have everything that you'll need to fly it from A to B fully IFR. With cargo loads. And I guess some people might be asking, is it working in missions as well? And the answer is yes, we have plans to make it work with remote operations, remote cargo operations, which are the type of missions these aircraft are supposed to fly in FS 2024. I'm not sure if there's any questions, but right here you can see the beautiful volumetric lighting on this aircraft, and I'm going to make it.
That is pretty.
So you can see it better.
We did have one question earlier. They wanted to know if you'll be making a manual for the C-17.
There is a manual. It is not a simple aircraft. You can fly it following the checklist from the sim.
That much is apparent.
And there's a lot of small little details that you might not know. But the manual is very long. It's 70 pages, so you have all of the information there.
Awesome. Are you able to show the working wipers by chance?
Yes, I can show the working wipers. For that, I need to make it rain again, so I need to probably sand a little.
No problem. There's a lot of people asking.
Yeah, so the wipers, we're actually working, and we were working on this morning. Dan can probably...
It's definitely worth noting, and I think this applies to all of the other teams that are showing their work as well, is that we're all working with things that are in progress and with development builds. So there are quirks to things, but as you can see, the wipers are...
They are pioneering so much new ground as well. Everybody's like, how come they don't have a schedule? How do you have a schedule with something that's never been done before?
Door be opened mid-air.
Absolutely. So if you try to go all the way ramp down, it's not going to go. It'll go to the leveled position. But as you can see, it's open. And let's open the upper door as well. So as you can see, it's fully open, and you can also open the side paratrooper doors in flight.
Hey, Henning, this is a partner.
So yeah, if you have
partner developer interview with 3 developers. This is the second.
the ramp is going to automatically
And
up to the level.
hang on, man. Some really interesting information is about to be unleashed on us all.
I think we love it and hate it at the same time at this point, but it's probably more towards love for the aircraft.
I think you're going to love the gliders that they showed earlier.
You can do transatlantic flights at at whatever altitude you wish with the doors open if you want, and land on a very, very small airstrip, fully loaded with cargo. So you can pretty much fly anywhere in the world. Any airstrip is going to handle this aircraft pretty much just fine. And yeah, I don't know if Dan has anything else to add at this point.
We answer some questions if people have more of those.
The what, sorry?
Might help me answer more questions.
Yep.
Let's see. There's a question. They're looking at that weather radar. Is that default or custom made?
That's default. It's pretty much the only source of weather we currently have. Gotcha.
Can you drop out some cargo off the ramp? Are you able to drop things?
Yeah, airdrops is something that we are currently actively looking for towards. It's currently not possible. All of the loads are fixed in place. We are looking at what's coming with
a potential way to remove
of course,
unwanted multiplayers.
We are trying to get more information if it's something that will be natively supported. If not, we already have a planned solution on how to make it work. So yeah, definitely coming in a future update.
Nice. Will it have different liveries?
Yeah, so it's 2 Royal Canadian Air Force liveries, and then we have 3 or 4 more that are either house liveries, fictional liveries, and one that is fully unpainted. So it's basically a private livery. And we have more coming on our website just because of licensing reasons.
Awesome. And do you know, will it be compatible in certain career modes?
Yes, we mentioned it would be remote cargo operations.
Right. 2025. Let's hope this is the year of the far out interiors.
I think Dan can answer that one.
Yeah, the WingFlex question. We did have an implementation of WingFlex, and for the most part it worked, but we weren't happy with how it looked and how it functioned, and it didn't really meet our high bar for this aircraft. So it's definitely something that we aim to get into the aircraft, and we will get into the aircraft. It's just a case of when.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to add to what Dan said, we had a couple of issues with it. It's just not ready right now, and we rather perfect it before we release it to the public.
Understood. All right, MilTech Simulations. Thank you so much for joining us today, Gabrielle and Daniel. Appreciate this little look into the C-17. Looking forward to having everyone try it out in the sim on November 19th. Thank you so much for joining. I think at this point
this is MilTech.
Our third developer, which is High Performance Group. If they're ready to go. Hello, Steve.
Hang on to your hats, folks.
Thanks for waiting patiently. It's great to have you on today, sharing your aircraft here. So I'll let you take it away.
Developers, everything looks super cool what you guys showed off today, but yeah, we're here with our
we're about to blow your minds.
H225, the Airbus H225, which is a medium utility helicopter. I'm here at Spinks Airport, and there is some history and kind of importance to that, really just kind of to tell our story. So at HPG we've developed 3 other Airbus helicopters prior to the H225, those being the H135, the H145, and the H160, but really, the H225 is the one we're the most impressed with our work here, and I think it really goes to just having this strong collaboration with Microsoft and the amount of resources they were able to make available to us. One of which being able to directly get into this helicopter, and get a cool 3D scan, get authentic audio from the guys down at Air Center Helicopters in Fort Worth, Texas. So we're at Spinks Airport, and this is actually where those guys are based out of. So again, we were able to take a trip there and make sure that everything that we've put into this matches the real world detail of that aircraft. One of the big things I'll kind of start off with here is just that there are 2 variants that we'll be delivering with 2024. So right now we have the search and rescue variant, but there is also a civilian variant. And that really just speaks to kind of the configuration options that are available with the H225, which really perfectly works with 2024. And, really giving people a lot of different activities that they can do, a lot of different career paths that you're able to do within the sim. The H225 itself is going to be able to do passenger transport, to do cargo transport, and to have search and rescue operations, and of course, you can always just fly around a free flight if that if that's your thing there. But a really impressive aircraft overall. The scale of it, maybe if we had a person out here, you could tell, but this is close to 20 feet tall. They have a max takeoff weight of just under 25,000 pounds. So really, again, just kind of goes into how big of a utility player these are when it comes to helicopter operations around the world. I'm going to go into the inside here. Give me a moment just to get into the cockpit. So we're in cockpit now, and apologies, I ran into a little MFD bug while we were waiting here, but typically you would have, the 4 MFD displays here. So earlier iteration prior to what you're used to in our other Airbus helicopters, which is the Helionics suite, but still very sophisticated. The Super Puma series dates back, very, very long history there, back to the 1980s, and then it, eventually turned into the H225 in the early 2000s.
I have a feeling we might need better computers.
Of course, they put out their proprietary Helionics avionics suite, but this one you'll still have access to, four-axis autopilot. All that functionality is going to be within here. You also do have the FMS here, which is the CMA 900 there. So that's going to be accurately modeled, allowing you to do full IFR flights, within the helicopter. So really big difference compared to what we have in 2020 in terms of the default aircraft, where not a lot of systems innovation or sophistication with the helicopters currently shipping with 2020, but you would have that in 2024. So really cool to have a sophisticated helicopter like that. And again, this is the search and rescue variant. So I'm just going to back up here and go a little to the back. So as we go back here, again, this is already equipped for search and rescue. So this is going to really increase that immersion once you get into those activities centered around search and rescue within 2024. Again, this was detailed directly off of the H225 there at Air Center. One of the things you'll note is on the ground, so when you see these actual tracks, this is how they make the H225 so configurable. These can come out. This can turn instantly from a search and rescue vehicle to firefighting to really anything that they need.
This disco party?
What the operator needs.
I know I have a one-track mind.
Helicopters, where we got the reference from, they actually are the #1 civilian operator of these as well. They have about 20 of them, and then those are all around the U.S. and around the world as well.
All I see is RV interiors or party interiors.
We got a lot of new materials that we're able to take advantage of, so it really helps with the realism of the graphics here, the lighting as well, improvements. Of course, we've got the walk around capability. So when you're doing your walk arounds, you'll be able to touch all these surfaces, open doors. Kind of the idea behind the walk arounds this year with 2024 is anything that you'd be able to access without, having specific hardware to get into it, you'll be able to. So the engine cowlings, things of that nature, you'll be able to pop into as well here. So let's go all the way back here to the cabin. Just going to walk back up to the front. What I'll do is just a short little flight here. Again, so a lot of folks who've flown the Airbus helicopters, they kind of compare them to their experience in other sims. Well, what I like to kind of point out there, though, is just a lot of the helicopters that have come in prior sims, again, they didn't have that system sophistication. So you're not getting fly-by-wire systems. You're not getting, 2, 4, 6 axis autopilot. So that's going to be new to a lot of folks who fly this. And, when you first get in, it may seem like, man, this is too simple to fly. But the reason for that is these H225s, the minimum cost for an operator to get these is about $20 million to $30 million in cost. So, of course, Airbus put a lot of that tech in. The idea, of course, is they want the pilots to be able to focus on the mission, which is keeping the crew safe. So they want as much, pilot thought going into operating these,
That's for now. We've been talking a lot lately about all of this high-tech stuff coming down to general aviation, starting with the VTOLs, the VTOL taxi stuff. It's going to start having all of this. It's going to be very, very super simple systems.
Looks like I'm running into an error there. Let me see what happened.
So 15 minutes, Grandma can be flying you cross town or cross country like a pimp.
While Steve is showing
I'm not kidding.
The helicopter, feel free to put it in chat, and I'll get them asked.
Same kind of controls as the F-35.
Take
the B. Soft landing technology, new forms of autopilot. What we're lacking, though, is inner city mapping. We have all of the maps available currently right now. Bing Maps everything. Every map that we currently have doesn't allow us to go from somebody's house to Ross to Walmart to Home Depot to wherever, the airport. We don't have inner city flight planning
because of the,
and we don't have any inner city autopilot.
Mostly for the customization options. Again, with 2024, that configuration is done right from the aircraft selection menu. There was a question earlier.
So whoever's out there developing the Bing avionics or develop something like that,
with the system that
I think you're going to be a billionaire.
You don't have to have multiple livery packages per variant. They can apply across all the variants. So that is one other improvement that's coming with 2024.
Will you be able to operate the hoist on the search and rescue version?
Yes.
Yes, you will. I don't have my Toby set up, so I usually would use that to kind of scroll up or to look up at the overhead panel, but there is a hoist lever within the overhead panel, which you'll also be able to set a shortcut for.
Awesome.
Additional questions there in the chat that I could take?
What type of liveries will you have?
So we have 6 liveries by default. They're mostly just color variations, but we do have the official, and Roland land in here. I shouldn't have parked here, but we do have the official Airbus house livery that you're used to, kind of seeing on the H225s. And then we have variations, and then we have this the SAR one. There's some opportunity maybe that some additional liveries will get released, but of course, the community always throws some help behind that as well.
For sure.
There you go.
Will this be good for firefighting? People know a little bit more. I think
that's this one.
Careers that this can do.
Yeah, so at this junction, the variant is not equipped with any of the firefighting equipment, but of course, we love to continue working with Microsoft. There is, there is a variant that does have that firefighter fighting.
Read that carefully.
Tank on it, so that would be something cool. I don't think any of the aircraft that we've seen for 2020 or 2024 yet have the belly tank, so that would be kind of cool.
He says modeling here is absolutely stunning. Does this chopper come with floats?
This one does not. No.
No floats. Okay. Yeah, definitely. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to show off in the helicopter, Steve?
No, not at this time. Just again, super excited to get this into the hands of everybody.
Fantastic. Well, we are certainly looking forward to this in the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
What?
Thank you so much, Steve.
What? He's not going to show it off, and he's not going to talk about this?
I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to all of us. We'll see if
is this
around here.
So I was going to say right off the bat, is this Jorg? Yes. Jorg does not want combat at all.
Hi. Welcome
in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Everybody back here. We got High Performance Group, got friends.
That's what today is supposed to be about. The first aircraft with
any closing
combat capabilities.
So, hi again. Hope you found this interesting. Thank you for the teams at Got Friends, MilTech, and Hype. Unlike last week, we actually did show 2024. So it was great to see. I looked at the chat a little bit while I was working.
That's what today was supposed to be about. That was the big reveal. These guys got to show off multiple planes. This guy, they have the best stuff, and then they're doing this, and he only got to show off that.
2024 is how we evolve.
I'm feeling a little bit hot. I'm looking for my boxing gloves.
Most of the key innovations
and
aircraft fleet, in particular,
that jittery feeling you get when you're about ready to fire somebody up.
Base sim aircraft were traditionally not all that detailed, but with teams like this, I think
I am ready to throw down and just.
And all of them are pouring their hearts into the aircraft. It's just going to be awesome. So for the community, with the community, I think it's really something.
It's not vaporware.
When I was watching,
he has been asked about this before. And he said, I'm going to provide you the tools that you need to do what you want to do.
Comments from people that make plans out there.
So,
and I think the team here is super collaborative. So I really think this is the way forward. It's a better world. Collaboration is a good thing. So I think that was it for today. We are actually.
Oh man.
Like, so I know we've been waiting. We found these 2 crash bugs. They're fixed. So I think literally like this minute, the dev alpha is up, and you can take, you'll have the exact same tools that these folks have to put those planes together, this aircraft together. So that was it for this week. Next week we'll have a marketplace prop.
No questions. Nobody can even interject a question about, hey, show us this.
The dev alpha.
Where's the combat?
And so we get some feedback, and we can hear if there's open questions and all that. But that was it for today. Thank you so much. I'm super happy how many of you spent time, and 27 days to go.
You're counting. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. We will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm sitting here seething. And then I have to apologize. I have to profusely apologize for bringing up anybody's expectation. But it says right there what it says right there. So again, Jorg has said in a recent interviews, when questioned about, hey, military careers are just as important as everybody else's careers, and he finally relented a little bit, but he is so anti-combat, and I kind of get it, but I don't. Especially from a cha-ching side, right? They don't do anything without a cha-ching side. So when Microsoft Flight Simulator came back, my first thought was they're going to also revive Microsoft Combat. And in the earliest alphas for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, there were all of the combat system options in the settings. So it had it, and it was almost like a bait and switch because we were all wanting it. So I think it's there. It is going to require these folks. They're not, Asobo's not going to support it. In the fact that, like just now, I don't think he wants to talk about it. But the military guy said, well, how about if we're not shooting at each other and we're shooting at targets? There's a right way and a wrong way to do this. And Jorg's like, do you really want people flying around shooting airliners out of the sky in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? For a visionary, it blows my mind. For a visionary, it blows my mind on how not to see the right way to do things and present it only from the wrong way to do things. He has the ability to, come on, anything you can think of, there's the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. In the United States, we have designated military airspaces. Let's just open up a sky vector or just look at any VFR map. On the VFR maps, all the military spaces. They tell you don't go into it, you're going to get shot down. Well, if you're dumb enough to be flying, why do you always blame the other person? If you fly into a military zone in Microsoft Flight Simulator, then, but outside of that, the other side of that is, outside of that, the weapons don't work. How simple is that? So, hey, well, thanks for sticking around. What are your thoughts? Llama Drama Farmer says it's vaporware. Well, from what I've seen, it was built in. Hey, if anybody's going to do a live stream now and do their own comments on this and I would like to get into the habit of, my daughter, she's a live streamer. She's like, do you do raids? I said, no, that sounds horrible. No, they're good things. You kids with your, we were that way in the 70s. That's bad. You mean that's good? Yeah. Bad is good. So, raids are at the end of your live stream. You invite your viewers to go over to somebody else's live stream. So the chat room is available for anybody who wants to advertise what you're doing next. I'm feeling rather angry that boy. Well, in the immortal words of Mick Jagger, you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. I think we're going to get there. You may not like it, but look, what rules the end of the day? Cha-ching! This attitude in our community that, I'm a fanboy just like you. Well, maybe I think I'm a super fanboy when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Super fanboy. They can do no wrong. They're the greatest in the world. They're the greatest developers I've ever seen in my life. If this was EA, we'd be furious. And we'd all be broke. Nickel and dime to death. What they've given us has far exceeded our expectations in 2013. To say that you expected this level of superior product after FSX, we were all crying back then in the internet. And the internet is forever. We're all out there crying, oh, please, Microsoft, come back. And then they deliver, and everything's been a powerhouse, just paradigm shifting. Pioneering, revolutionary. So yeah, I'm a fanboy. I think I got all happy hyping them up that I forgot what I was angry about. The combat thing. Well, let me just look back over again. Hey, if you're doing any live streaming after this, you're going to do your own commentary on all this, your thoughts on all this. Then post your links in the chat room. If you need a subscriber, make a mark in the chat room so I can go to your channel and hit subscribe. If I'm not subscribed, forgive me if I'm not. If you're in the Flight Sim community, I want to be subscribed to you. I've tried to subscribe to everybody. So please help me with that oversight. Make a mark, drop an emoji, say hi, anything. And it allows me to click the 3 buttons next to your name and go to channel. I can immediately subscribe. I don't want to wait for YouTube to tell me you subscribe. Sometimes it takes forever. Then I feel like a jerk. How come he didn't subscribe right back to me? It's not my fault. I mean, there's a right way and a wrong way. Oh, the attitude in the... Yeah, I've just now remembered what I was going to say. The attitude in this community that, dude, just go play DCS World. Hey, shove it. Politely. I don't want to. I have my reasons. As an American, I'm going to say I have my reasons, and I have my reasons. I am 100% against, until combat comes along, I'm 60% against the idea of using anything but Microsoft Flight Simulator as my want for a combat experience. So I don't want to hear DCS World or War Thunder, you know, or whatever. All right, let me put this thing in hover mode and go back over to chat. Oh, I think that's all I need to say, or I'm going to get in trouble if I keep, you know, going on and on. Again, cha-ching, that's cha-ching. Not enough disco interiors. Yeah, let's talk about that one for a minute. And then the super simple controls that are coming up. If you haven't heard the last one of these they did, the first one of these that they did with their partner developers, freaking fantastic, man. Star Trek is here. They're going to unleash these VTOLs on us that are coming in the real world really soon too. Pardon me, crashing down. I've really got to get a better handle on the control systems for these. Hey, nobody knows everything. So these new VTOL that are coming out, especially the heavy duty ones, super simplified controls and hybrid flight technology, soft landing technology, innovations in autonomous flight, like autopilot, but not just the standard old same buttons. There's new ways that they're approaching everything. Dial in speeds. The best way to show you what's coming, and that guy was like, well, this is a $20 million vehicle with the state-of-the-art. That's all coming down to us. So don't be scared by that $20 million stuff. These things aren't going to cost $20 million. They just require mathematicians. Okay. Sorry. I'm jittery now. I'm jittery. He's got me all riled up. So the disco interiors, yeah. Since I've been flying the Caravan, I've been wanting an interior where, the bug out plane, if you're into that, a party plane. We're getting avatars now. I want multiplayer interiors. So you can shove as many avatars as you can in there. Social places. Changing up the idea of what interior travel for your fan base is like. That's ultimately where it is. If you're a social media person, all your followers, they like watching your live streams, but they're sitting there watching your live stream. And that's it. They can't interact. They need a way to get into your planes and hang out and chat with you, and you serve them drinks and do some trivia and y'all, all kinds of fun stuff. All right, here we are. The flight capabilities of this thing is coming to general aviation soon, and it's going to take over everything, in my opinion. This is where everything is going, and we're never going to go back. They're already phasing out VOR. Well, they want to. Here, let's start over there. The name will give you a laugh. So yeah, these kind of controls are coming to an aircraft near you soon. And it won't be $20 million per aircraft. And this is where we're going. And we're never going to go back unless you want to go back. That's been a question of the week too. Are you going to want to go back and fly old school cockpits and old school aviation avionics, everything at this point is now kind of old school. Everything. Okay. So hang on to your hats. Let me turn up some sound. I had it all down because the live stream. What? None of you guys are going to be live streaming after this? None of you guys are mad? Or happy? Or want to do your own? Okay. Well, if you do want to post what you're doing, your live streams and links to your channels and whatever, use the chat room. Okay. Okay. So these hybrids that are coming have this capability, this button here, okay? And this tilts your nacelles or engines. All right. So right now they're at 20 degrees. Click of a button, your aircraft from here on out going forward, you'll have this option. You can have this option. And now it's just a matter of pushing forward or backward on the joystick. Oh, after you take your brake off, maybe. I'm in helicopter mode. Oh, I'm hoping 2024 is more AI. They apply an AI to something like that. So it knows you've switched. I have a general one for a lot of things under this one. Okay. Forwards and backwards on the joystick. This is what your plane soon is going to be able to do. All right. Okay. Little do-si-do. Jorgen and everybody's been talking lately about we need to train the next generation of kids. Everybody's seriously concerned that we won't have enough pilots in the next 20 years. And that's in a lot of fields, actually. It's not just aviation. They're deathly afraid of a collapse. But then stuff like this comes along. Now, with your right aileron trim button, keep your eye where the 0 is next to STOVL mode right here. Okay, so using your right trim, there's 4 knots. Your general aviation craft will be able to dial in speeds. Don't you hate taxiing since taxiing has been around? Don't taxi more than 5 knots, son, or we're taking your license. Don't you remember all the training missions of the past where you taxi 6 knots to 10 knots and you start over again? And back in those days, then you had to sit through like a 5-minute worth of briefing, hitting the space bar, trying to hurry through them to get back to it, only to taxi to the very end and screw up right then and there. And have to do it again and again. They put us through hell. All right. Because this is a F-35, we can take it up to 50 knots. Don't know what the capabilities. I'm sure they'll get faster and faster. Okay, using your left aileron. Now I'm bringing the speed down. There's 25 knots. Okay. -7 knots, -12. -20 is our max on the reverse. We're never going back. You can also use them like a conventional aircraft. You don't have to use the VTOL capabilities on at least one of the models, the Archer. Right? The other one, the personal one, looks like a land speeder out of Star Wars. All right, let me put us back at 0. All twitchy, mad at Jorg. There we go. Okay. Click of a button, let's turn our hover off, or just, heck, just turn Stouffville off. Okay? You think it's just going to fall right out of the air? Kick your thrust in. There's 150 knots right there. Whoa. Probably helped if I put the gear up. So, of course, your Stouffville's not going to be able to do this yet. All right, let me slow back down. And get under 150 knots and closer to the ground. So we picked up a VIP, and now we're giving them a ride across town. We don't have inner city mapping. We don't have inner city flight plan mapping. Everything's still macro. There's no way for me to plot from there to Walmart to the airport to the McDonald's so I can be an Uber delivery. All right, so when I first kick it back in, we're at 73 degrees on the rotation. So jets or nacelles, it doesn't matter. Whatever your propulsion of choice. So normally when you have an aircraft that you fly in this position, things are, you know, kind of dangerous if you just point it straight at the ground in any other aircraft and it's like, oh my god, we're gonna die. This thing just doesn't want to fall out of the sky. It's a really cush ride. You can push the nose all the way down and make it, you know, hit the ground if you want, but other than that, it's all right. So we're gonna drop Grandma off over here. Oops. Don't want to go forward or backwards. Okay. There you go, Grandma. Have a nice walk home. Let me hit the brakes. You know, it's going to be so simple that now you can get in the back seat and Grandma can do it. So I have enjoyed every bit of learning about everything since I first discovered a Microsoft Flight Simulator program. But the knowledge required, and then, you know, trying to learn it as if you had to go get a license and try to practice all of that. Man. And I still only know, you know, a third of what you need to know to really do it. We don't use E6B whiz wheels in the simulator, you know. There's so many things that we don't do that would really kick our butts in the real world if they just suddenly said, all right, yeah, calculate the math on this, show me how to use that whiz wheel, flip it over to that side, do the winds, da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna do that. This is gonna This is going to make things so much easier for everybody. And this is today. Now you can really think about where we will be in 10 years with regards to what I'm talking about right now. The next generation of AI, voice communications, voice interfaces. Grandma, tell it you want to go to Walmart. Right? Advertisers. Here's a different subject that you probably have never heard or seen in the forums, maybe in the earliest days. Everything's about cha-ching, how to make money. This new infrastructure that's going to happen with all the next generation aircraft, these VTOLs that are going to be flying around like this. It's hard without that, without the electronic feedback to deliver us being avionics, to be able to, again, plot from here to Lowe's to Home Depot to wherever accurately. They need to advertise on the roofs. Businesses don't ever advertise on the roofs. I've seen Ross do it once in Las Vegas. From the air, it actually says Ross in huge letters all across the rooftop. And I thought that was brilliant. At least I know where they're at. McDonald's, the colors are so stupid anymore these days. You really just have to look for the M. Other than that, you can't identify McDonald's anymore from the air. You people are... Sorry, the PC's kicking in. I can't say that word. Not allowed to use those words anymore. It's not 1970 anymore. Oh, man. Probably put it in hover mode. Scraping up I'm scraping up our underbelly. So yeah, this is where we're headed. Not $20 million. The gentlemen that are producing the Microsoft version to start training on, like, it just, the math was hard. And it seemed to have taken years off them visibly. You know, watch the interview on the aircraft I'm talking about coming to Microsoft. It's posted. Yeah, the math. Twitch. The math was so hard, you know. Damn, I believe it. But what you're delivering, holy bejesus. What else is on your mind? I really don't know what I'm doing until 2024 comes out. As far as I've turned off NEOFLY, so I'm going to hold off on career stuff till we get to the real career stuff. It was fun. The NEOFLY folks, hey, thank you. That was a lot of fun. It was a great distraction. But, so I'll be doing the career stuff on my live streams and doing, the photography stuff, and hopefully doing some weapons trading. If you're just coming in, I do want to shut down. I've been waiting for somebody in the chat room to say, hey, yeah, I'm going on next. I'm up next. I'm going on at the top of the hour. So, prop me up. Nobody's... I'm used to, like, radio, internet radio. There's always another DJ next. Somebody's next. Who's next? We can't leave people hanging. Somebody out there has to be doing something next. And then that's a radio twitchy thing. Now I get twitchy. What do you mean nobody's up next? I mean, we're just going to go to automated music next? Really? Till when? 6 a.m.? All right, I'm staying up all night. So yeah, I'm looking for somebody in the chat room to let us know that you're going to go next. You're up, you're up. Post your links in the chat room so people can go over and listen to you talk about what you thought about that. I'm still 90% happy. Is there a TJ Maxx up ahead? Grandma? Ah, yeah. Her favorite. Oh, no. Oh, she wants to go to the hospital up ahead. All right, not a problem. I've slowed down soon enough. Sorry, Grandma. I'll get you there. You just can't do this in anything. But you will soon. So for Cessna, Boeing, everybody, every airplane manufacturer as of right now, what do you think they're thinking about with regards to this? I think that they would all be foolish not to pick up guys that do hard math and also be doing it. I think if these people get into the markets first with this kind of stuff, you know, goodbye to you. And for any business to think that they can ride on their laurels, history says otherwise. And so, where's my Cessna 1? I don't know what you would. A 172 variant. Now with rotating nacelles, rotating wings. If they don't, somebody's going to. So they I think they kind of have to. We've already seen what the Volo can do. Really? Nobody's up next? Wow, folks. But here's a different subject, altogether different. But since I'm in a mad mode, let me just get it all off my chest. I was demonetized for 14 years over an accident. Right? But back then, it was the whole... YouTube must remain innocent or in meaning that you need to be found naturally. Anything to screw up, like I hacked the algorithm, 14 years of demonetization, right? But yet everything's now common practice. All these videos, hey, create 3 accounts. So after you're done with your live stream, go over to and run. Dude, that's definitely not in the spirit. But that's the spirit now. If I owned YouTube, I'd be kicking so many people off YouTube. All these guys that get rich on YouTube, and it's like they have whole channels that's all they do is they say the same thing over and over again, and 100 videos on getting rich on YouTube, and everybody's doing it, and it's kind of sick. So that's my other rant. Changing subjects then. I think the Skyvan is going to be a boon for early career mode transportation and cargo. I think up to this point, like with NEOFLY, the Caravan is going to be a big deal too. So if you've ever looked at the Caravan and thought, I don't want to fly that thing, I think that whole attitude will change. That was my first thought seeing it. It looks like the station wagon. Well, now I've come to appreciate the station wagon, and now I want to live in them. But the Caravan will soon become your dream airplane, because it's the first one that really allows you to start moving some cargo or whatever you need. And so you start making money. I said, man, there isn't anything like the next step. The next biggest thing is like now millions more. There's no easy step up. And then they gave us the World War II Skyvan, the flying shoebox. And now I think that one is going to be a potentially great plane to have for your career. Don't quote me on that. That's my prediction. I have no idea. If you haven't seen the Skyvan, it's awesome. It's awesome. So looks like the Caravan right there. So that's where the idea of like the RV or the disco interiors comes from. Doing all these long flights, world tour stuff, and traveling all over in this thing. When it's on autopilot, hanging out in the back, having a cigarette, thinking, man, this flight's getting long. I'm going to need the restroom, and I'm going to need drinks, and I'm going to need a TV, and you're going to need this, and you're going to need that. And now I want to see my camp out utility stuff and the pets. There we go. Let me show you the Skydive model, because that's the crazy one. Clowning around, you got your clownfish, you got your kind of like hippie. It's like business crazy on one side and hippie on the other. I can't wait to see UK. UK. Last night I was trying to fly around and do some Bushtalk audio on some landmarks, become more familiar with the place. And as much fiddling as I could do, I just really couldn't get the photogrammetry to be as pleasing as I had hoped for me. So I really can't wait to see the UK in 2024 and see what they do moving forward. seeing things get better and better and better. So yeah, here's the Skyvan. So as you see right off the bat, you know, it's like a step up from the Caravan. So now we can do a little bit more. And we can at least stand up. Caravan, we're all hunched over, and I don't like hunching. The only thing I don't like is the door goes... This hatch comes up instead of going down like a ramp. And I don't like that because I know me and my friends, somebody's going to be passed out. Somebody's going to be wasted and passed out and sleeping back there. And somebody's going to come up and end up hitting this thing. And, oh, good thing it's got a little curve in it. I think that anybody in there, they got, you know, you're not going to have much room. But I think you might be okay. But it's a heck of a risk. Yeah. Plane we saw on the live stream today, the big boy, has the ramp. So I think this is going to be a good moneymaker. It's fun to fly, and it does, you can do an ILS landing with it. Right now, it seems a little bit wonky. It could have been me. I live in Colorado, and 420 is the thing. But trying to do an IFR flight and use autopilot all the way to Denver, and then do an ILS landing at times kind of was weird. You know, your autopilot can freak out. Like, either way, autopilots freak out. And this one's no different. But I think if you like these kind of aircraft, I think you're going to love the Skyvan. I can't believe they've stopped making these. That's forced the Caravan to be the most widely used by FedEx and other people. But why? Why? When you can do this? And again, soon, after what we were talking about, got to think about engineering tomorrow. We're going to tilt those nacelles and we're going to do the same thing. Let's figure out how to... whatever the proper term is, VTOL or STOVL or whatever. Vertical takeoff and landing. Super silly, simple controls. Well, nobody's taken me up on my offer to advertise going next at the top of the hour, or advertising your live stream for later for people to hop over to. So I'm just going to say goodbye now then.